I'm going to now switch over to Brian Steinmuller, who is the Assistant Director of the New York State Soil and Water Conservation Committee. And again, he accepted our invitation at the last minute. So much appreciative of you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us and to share a little bit about what's going on with the State Conservation Committee. And again, Brian is a really good partner. He's really supportive of a lot of conservation, not only with the districts, of course, but in turn that work does help other partners in the state. So Brian, go ahead and take it over. Thank you.
Well, good morning, Aaron and Nicole. Thank you again for the opportunity to address this group today. Aaron, congratulations on your leadership post of the society. And it's great to see so many familiar names and faces here on the line. I really do appreciate the opportunity. I just want to say a few words, following on what Blake was just talking about in terms of opportunities. Certainly opportunities abound in New York State for conservation efforts. Building off of the solid framework, the solid foundation that already exists here in New York State, there are, certainly so much to be proud of. And, I want to talk a little bit about how our conservation efforts and working on agricultural lands and with rural landowners, even suburban and urban communities, really translate to climate action in New York State, specifically looking at how we can help address the state's climate goals through the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act. The CLCPA, as it's otherwise known, sets ambitious targets for the state to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 40% by 2030, which is just around the corner, and 85% by 2050, with a companion goal of meeting carbon neutrality by 2050 as well. So with an 85% reduction in order to meet carbon neutrality by 2050, that means there has to be a 15% amount of carbon sequestration to meet that goal. Carbon sequestration coming in the forms of good forest management, sustainable forest management, as well as reforestation, afforestation efforts, and certainly also through the work that our conservation districts and partners do on farms all the time, referring to soil health, soil carbon sequestration, agroforestry opportunities, and working with landowners across the states to increase the potential for sequestration. In addition to our sequestration goals, certainly agriculture also must contribute to the solutions to addressing our greenhouse gas footprint in New York State. And ways to do that will also to build up our solid baseline through good, sustainable, and improved nutrient management to reduce our nitrous oxide emissions, and also manure management to reduce methane emissions. Certainly manure management, manure storages, and nutrient management have been absolutely vital tools for the state to address its water quality objectives. Now we must also do the same to address our greenhouse gas emissions climate mitigation objectives as well. So there will be tremendous opportunity to look at what those existing systems are out there in the landscape, many of which we've all had a hand in helping farmers to implement, and ways that we can mitigate the methane now that is created from those sources. In addition, we must also look at enteric fermentation, so feeding of animal livestock in New York State. Certainly this is a national and international goal as well to deal with methane, but here in New York, we also have a solid baseline where our methane emissions from our animal feeding is much, much less than the national and international average. So we have an opportunity here to do even more and to work with our land grant institution at Cornell University and our extension service, and through the partnership to bring more tools to our farms to reduce those emissions even further. And, again, just to look at all of our mitigation opportunities, we also realize that there are multiple co-benefits, including resiliency and adaptation. So again, our watershed management across the state, whether it be on small watersheds or much larger regional scale like that in the Finger Lakes, we must also be taking into consideration how all of our projects throughout the landscape have a cumulative impact on resilience in watershed management, water quality, and water quantity across the state. Recognizing also that there are numerous downstream benefits for improved water quality, air quality, biodiversity, et cetera, and certainly a more resilient food system. So there are many opportunities out there currently through our agricultural environmental management framework, our associated cost share programs such as Ag Non-Point Source and climate resilient farming, and also certainly opportunities coming down the pike to increase on our solid baseline while also working as a team to come up with new and exciting incentive structures to bring conservation to our farms and on our landscape. So certainly look forward to working with all of you and all the great things that this society does, bring all of these great minds, technicians and managers and researchers, professors, and conservation partnership to the table. It really is truly an exciting time. I've said it to some new staff that have come into working in this field, that this really is a watershed moment. Pardon the pun, but I think it's worthy of it right now. Just want to thank all of you for the opportunity to address the society today, and look forward to some of the discussion here this morning, as well as all the discussion that is to follow. So thank you very much.